much,
Enjoy the
guys.
commentary. Good luck. Bye.
Yep, so that was quite a race, wasn't it? And we still have one more for you guys tonight. I am Vol'jin, and I'm here with Sigma. Sigma, what have we got?
Well, what do we have left to say? Trojan gave us our introduction already.
It's over. We're done. All right, our job's done.
All right, we can kick back.
Cool. You know, I wanted to just kind of get a nice drink and relax, and just kind of settle in for this upcoming race, which of course you guys are all prepared for. You don't need to know anything more about it. Oh goodness.
Wow. Yeah, so I mean, we've got 10 minutes to kill, so we can kind of just hang out for a little bit because those guys finished fast, so we're ahead of schedule. It's nice.
Wow, these guys, it's almost like they're speed running or something. Jeez.
Whoa now. Gotta slow down. Gotta appreciate the forest sometimes.
Indeed. Well, we're having some problems with that from the tournament participants because they've all been getting all their matches in, and we actually have only one match left in the vast majority of the groups in our tournament, and in two groups we have two matches left. This upcoming match being one of the matches from one of those groups. That's not confusing at all.
Yeah, those were words that I'm sure everybody managed to follow. There'll be a test later.
Oh, goodness. But yeah, so Mount Horu, we're going to be seeing the second to last match in this group, as mentioned, between Odiahn and Rasmus. I guess we can talk a little bit about the standings implications of this match. And it's pretty complex. This will, since it's the second to last match, there's actually not going to decide the overall picture of the group. Hetfield has already, of course, gone 3-0. He's done. He's on his way to the top seed in the bracket, and that's hardly surprising to anybody. But coming up now, we've got these two matches with Rasmus against the other two entrants in the group, and a lot of things could change depending on the outcomes of these matches. Sigma, what can you tell us about if Rasmus wins this coming match versus if Odiahn wins?
Well, if Odie needs to win this match to give himself a chance of not being fourth seed, he's already taken two losses, one to Het and one to Rufus. So if he wins this, he can throw things into confusion, so to speak. If Rasmus wins, on the other hand, he's going to doom Odie to fourth, and he's going to be then competing with Rufus for second, third. So the most interesting situation is if Odie manages to win this to get one win in, and then Rasmus loses to Rufus, they'll each be sitting at one win, and then I think they'll be by race time, since they'll all have a head-to-head tiebreaker against each other.
Indeed. And I mean, that would be, we could not be able to project that, that decision, because obviously there are times when these two races are going to factor into it. So we can't say for sure if Rasmus wins both races, such and such, or sorry, if Rasmus wins one race and loses the other, that such and such thing is going to happen. But the interesting thing to note about those races is that all three of these runners have very close PBs. Rasmus started this tournament with I want to say a 59-minute PB that he submitted at basically a couple days before the tournament started, just so that he could get, his PB on the leaderboard to qualify for the tournament in the first place. And since then, he's improved by 20 minutes, which is quite a lot of improvement.
Yeah, I don't think I even had the stats sheet updated, and he's already has by far the largest improvement of any racer in the tournament, and not even just by pure magnitude of time, but also relative to the world record, he's really cut his time down quite a lot. So one thing to note though is the race he did against Hetfield early in the tournament, he got a fairly slow time with a 54, which I mean at the time was close to his PB, I think, but he's improved so much over the last few weeks that now it's a close battle between him and his other group members. And, he'll definitely want to avoid that situation where it comes down to them all having one win and average race times factoring in, because he has that kind of a, poor first race time that'll give him a disadvantage in that. But of course, if he just wins the matches, then no problem.
Right. If he is able to win both matches, he will actually take second place in this group by virtue of that. But yeah, I mean, with his first race time of 54, he's going to need some insanely good times in the next two races in order to improve that average. So pretty much he's got to be hoping to move up into second place there. And that's going to be a tough road. Both of these coming runners that he's going to be facing are pretty good, and they both have about 2 minutes better PBs than him. Actually, Odiahn and Rasmus, their PBs are, or sorry, Odiahn and Rufus, their PBs are currently only separated by 4 seconds.
That's getting, well, wait, did they already play that match, those two?
They did already play that match.
Gosh darn.
It's a shame. It would be really impressive if they played it right now.
I was getting all excited here.
Indeed.
But yeah, no, this is Odie's last match in the group, so he definitely wants to win this, because you don't want to be fourth, because being fourth can put you into the pre-elimination round, as coined by Hobbs. And, going straight to the round of 32 is much more forgiving. Yeah,
for sure. And you see on our stat sheet right now that currently Rasmus is projected for the bottom seed in the pre-elimination stage, but that is largely based on his only match that he's done so far, and that was back on the 18th. So it's been a little while. He can both improve his average by a lot, but also he could even ascend into second or third place depending on the outcomes of his races. So Rasmus is definitely going to be looking to have better showing this time than back on the 18th when he accidentally leveled Rekindle early instead of Magnet.
Oh, that's what happened that race. I didn't remember that. Oh no.
Yeah,
that's a really, really painful mistake to make.
So we are just hanging out until around the 7 o'clock hour as we, of course, the racers are scheduled to go at that time, so I'm not going to make them rush and kick it off early or anything like that, but we should be getting going pretty soon.
Yeah, I think they're ready in the race room, but we've got our schedule to adhere to, so we should be good to chill for a bit. So we talked about this group a little bit. Anything interesting happening in the other groups, you think? I mean, they're all getting close to a close, so
yeah, just about every group has only one match to go, and of course, a lot of them have kind of already been determined. We've seen some of the upsets in some other groups. The group that just finished, of course, was Moon Grotto in the Monkley versus Rivid race. That was the last race in their group, and that group ended up going 1, 2, 3, 4 according to seeds. This group has, I think, the most possibility for kind of some shuffling in that 2, 3, 4 range. But the other groups mostly kind of going according to seed. We're going to see in Misty Woods, Red Rum was able to upset Icex, so to speak. It's tough to call it an upset because they're pretty close in terms of the seeding in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we did see some big upsets of 1 seeds in groups. Raziel being taken down by Brynhold, and Stafu being taken down by Hobbs, myself being taken down by Ella Jiminy, and Epic Cat taking down Roos. So, there's some interesting stuff going on, but it's hard to say exactly what's really going to happen until this group kind of finishes up. I think this group is going to be the most dynamic one. Not, of course, to cast any doubts on the playing skills of Kyrfel or Richard in my group, but most likely Elo and I will be taking our last matches, and that will result in Elo taking first and me second, and it looks like we are about to get started, doesn't it?
Yeah, looks like we're off on SRL, and yeah, we're going. We got the sync, and they are off.
Fantastic. So as we get going, Odiahn tossing out the color code there with beautiful pink Ori. What a lovely shade. That's actually my personal favorite, and I won't dwell on it too much, but when you get into the Save Anywhere glitch going into Blackroot Burrows, it's a little bit easier to see a bright pink or a magenta Ori.
Mm-hmm. Personally, I don't go for the color code because I've had too many experiences where it just gives me dark blue and I'm frantically trying to change away from it and it just keeps giving me blue and purple, and yeah, it's bad. So we notice a little bit of a lead here for Odie at the start. That was just some menuing issues, looks like, from Rasmus. So, you know, a few seconds, but really not a big deal. You can avoid, you know, that kind of difference meaning anything by just not dying somewhere that you would normally die. So I'm sure we'll use that kind of strat later.
Oh, I certainly hope we'll see that from both runners. We could definitely expect to see a really good race if they're both able to pull off, you know, a clean, not even necessarily deathless, but without major, you know, like catastrophic deaths.
Mm-hmm.
So heading back from Spirit Flame, Odie taking the damage from the Bramble Pad, Erasmus avoiding it. They're both, of course, managing their health very carefully because they've got the Ghost Door coming up, but they definitely don't want to die before that. Erasmus picked up a health from the jump pad, so he got an animation stack out of the way, always nice. Odie still running on 2 health right now, I believe. Now he's down at 1.
I don't think he wanted that hit there, so he's going to have to be careful at the top slime, and he also didn't kill this one, so given that he dropped it to 1 health, I think he probably wanted the experience, so he's going to have to not get hit here. Looks like he's going to be safe. It wasn't right at the edge to snipe him, so
indeed. Meanwhile, Erasmus, swimming in HP drops, is able to take this damage boost, no problem, and he will get to his Ghost Door momentarily as well. So good job by both of them, avoiding having any unfortunate deaths or anything like that. Both runners, as far as I know, are going to be taking this health cell, and we do see Erasmus turning as well to go get it. I would have been shocked if either of them had chosen to go for 3 health.
Yeah, that would be some nutty stuff, I would have to say. I would applaud it right up until the moment that they died.
Of all the like dares to have between the 2 runners, that would certainly be the worst, I think. Oh, goodness.
Please do backflips, just not 3 health.
Not fast Frankie walk, no.
No, you can't make me. Alright, so both of them checking their UI. Looks like they'll be... I think Rasmus... Oh, that's why it's so low, is because this slime was still alive. They're both fine on this experience. I think they can level on the way down.
Oh no, I don't know what Rasmus was thinking there, but he took a quick turn back to try to pick up some extra XP, I think, and he just ran face first into a bramble there. It's only going to send him back to Ghost Door, but that's actually around a minute, so pretty costly death, unfortunately.
Yeah, that one hurts a little bit. I think he wanted to ensure that he leveled up on the way down, because if he did miss the experience from the damage boost, then he would have had to level on the way up. But there's really not too much wrong with leveling up on the way up. This is like just kind of a bit of a weird experience route. He didn't take the 5 flogger in the roof, which is... I swear everybody takes that one.
Yeah, you almost always take that. It's 5 XP, very low time cost, and it gives you a health drop as well, which allows you to get a little bit... of safety and knowing that you're going to be at full health. He's opting to blow up these brambles instead. His HP or his XP does look fine to level up on the way back, so I think he's going to be okay. We're going to see, and he does have sufficient health to make it through as well. Odie, meanwhile, is already making his way back from wall jump, so he's definitely not slowing down at all. I'm going to take a wild guess that neither of these runners is watching one another, as I know that they probably have enough adrenaline and nerves going without having to watch their opponent.
Yeah, most runners in the tournament have seemed to opt to not look at the screens. I know you did. What are some of your thoughts about like whether you want to watch your opponent or not?
Well, I think it's a really, regardless of kind of the effect that has on you, I think it's a really good thing to do because it turns it from being just kind of a run that you're doing on your own and hoping is faster than another run that someone else is doing on their own, into an actual head-to-head active competition where you can see what your opponent is doing and what their pace is like, and you can adjust potentially. Odie having a little bit of problem with the menuing on the Save Anywhere, but not too bad. He is heading into Blackroot. But obviously there's effects that it will have on people if you're watching your opponent. You know, if your opponent gets a substantial lead or if you take like a rough death, Obviously, even without seeing how far ahead your opponent is, that's going to be, nerve-inducing for you. But then when you also are like, wow, I can clearly see they're way ahead of me. They are off at fast stompless, and I'm back here just getting stomped. You're going to be affected a little bit. I think it didn't directly affect my play too many times during that match, which of course I did lose. But I think that was more due to, my own nerves and mistakes rather than specifically watching my opponent.
Yeah, and your controller bugs, of course. So Odie gets across the lantern part. That's the scariest part of Blackroot right there. So now he's pretty much in the clear, and he's got the good cycle, so he doesn't have to wait for a full platform rotation up top. Now he's just going to be going for some kind of cycle manip. We'll see how aggressive or docile he opts to be.
That's pretty docile, it looks like.
He was way over to the right, though, so yeah,
That's true.
a little docile. You
Rasmus
don't want to be over aggressive. That's the worst.
Yeah, for sure. You'd much rather waste like a half a second than lose 8 to missing a cycle. Rasmus has made it into Blackroot Burrows. He's making his way back from the little lantern lighting torch thingy mabobber. So he's looking pretty good right now. He's mostly recovered in terms of his play right now. He takes a little damage from that projectile, but he's making it across. He opts to go a little bit safe. See how he does on the lasers.
Looks pretty
He
nice.
should still be
Good
able.
cycle for him as well. Yeah.
Yep, no
So
problem.
now we have Odie coming up on the only little bit of RNG you can't control in the run. How fast does this orb drop? Medium.
Medium drop, not bad.
So Rasmus has an opportunity to catch up a little bit if he can get lucky and have the orb drop a second faster.
That one entire second.
Oh man. Yeah, but there's a pretty significant lead for Odie here. That early death cost quite a bit, so it's looking like about a 57-second difference at the moment. Not insurmountable. This is still very early in the run, and there's a lot of places where you can make a single mistake that'll cost you 57 seconds or more. But definitely Odie looking to be in a good position right now.
Yeah, and something that we're seeing that we have not been able to see in his previous races is he seems very confident right now. He's playing with, when I'm watching like live sportscasts, they'll call it like swagger, but it's not the same kind of swag we're going to talk about in like a speed run. He's just playing with that confidence where he knows what he wants to do and he knows how to execute it. It's something that he didn't have as much back then, and his PB's improved a lot. We're talking 2 weeks since then, so he's gotten a lot better, and here he's able to show it so far.
Yeah, it's nice to have this kind of performance in a race that matters, so to speak. Like, I mean, they all matter, but if you're going to have a poor race, you might as well have it against Hetfield, where you're going to get wrecked anyways, and then have a good race when you have a chance of winning.
Yeah, and I think that might have even factored into Rasmus's decision to take his match against Hetfield first, way back in mid-February when he was not in the 39 range. Good Frankie walk by Odie, and he's about to
he
make
went
his
for the
death
dunk, but he didn't get the minute, but he recovered. Okay.
Yep, no problem there. He was able to not die, which is the only important thing there. You can lose a few seconds, but if you die, you're very sad.
Yes, that would have actually put him behind. So speaking of mistakes that can lose you a bunch of time, that was one of them, and he avoided it. So now heading on down to Grotto.
So Rasmus has just checked his HP right before Frankie walked in. He's on 2, and that's a little bit scary because these spikes that you're going to jump over and damage boost through, they have 2 sections. Odie going for the fast cycle here, not quite have the wall jumps for it. But only one of those sections does 1 damage, and Rasmus is able to hit it. If he had hit those spikes slightly further right, he would have taken 2 and died, but fortunately he was able to do that. He should be able to get through his Frankie walk pretty well.
Yeah, surviving is always good. Odie's boosting himself down to 1 health here just to make sure he can die quickly on this ghost. He didn't save!
Oh, goodness! Okay.
Okay.
So a little bit slow on the ghost door. In fact, he doesn't get a ghost door.
Don't need that. Alright, we're dead. What? It's a ghost door, hey!
He got the ghost door, perfect. Oh, goodness. Boy. Well, he is able to make it through to double jump, so a little bit of spaghetti there, but fortunately he was able to recover it quickly and not take too huge of a time loss. Yeah,
nice menu there into the blind movement. We'll see how this goes for him. Of course, I don't have sound on, so I have no idea.
Oh,
He's in the water.
no, I saw a red flash. All right,
Looks like
he
he
was
got
gonna
out
make
pretty
it out.
quickly, though. I think he only took one hit from the water, which is really impressive, being able to recover from that quickly. Nice movement out of there as well.
I think the more times that you get affected by that you fall in the water and start taking that damage, the more used to it you get, and the more confident you get just quickly recovering when you see that you're in the water.
Rasmus coming up on Ghost Door goes well for him. He gets the save off. Now Odie's going to try to do Grotto Skip here. This trick is pretty darn finicky. And he gets it first try, so that's really nice.
Indeed. That's, again, that's one of those things where as a, possibly less confident runner or as a runner with a, a slower PB, you get to that trick and you pull it off first try. That's just a big boost of confidence that's going to help you throughout the race.
Yeah, and I think confidence is like a really good way to put it with respect to Grotto Skip as well. Rasmus kind of messed up his blind movement there, but he put himself in a position where he wasn't going to get immediately killed by a Frankie when he could see again, so nice sort of adaptation there to missing this jump. He seemed to realize that things were going wrong. But yeah, Rasmus will be coming up on Grotto Skip soon, and Grotto Skip does have a lot to do with confidence, because you have to react very quickly after you get the first jump to switch directions and jump back into the wall. And if you don't think you're going to get it, and you're kind of like thinking, maybe I have to bail to a platform or something like that, you won't switch directions in time and you won't get it. But when you're confident, and nice from Rasmus there getting the first try as well, so
beautiful.
Both these guys are feeling it.
Rasmus has definitely picked up his play a little bit since the very beginning. He took that unfortunate death, which, wasn't even an instance of bad play necessarily, just as much as, oops, I turned around a little bit too hard and I ran to brambles. But since then, he's playing very confidently as well, and he's actually narrowed the gap just a little bit. It's down to 53 seconds now. So, if he can keep clawing back in and not having any more similar kinds of catastrophic deaths, he may be able to get back into this soon.
Yeah, it's very hard to make up time in Ori, just from good play. You kind of need to rely on mistakes too from your opponent to some extent, but the seconds here and there definitely matter when a race could come down to be very close. All that he needs is one slip up from Odie, basically, and he'll be right back in it. Or, if he saves 4 seconds on every single split till the end of the run and then gets a first try door warp, who knows what could happen.
And it's great to point out at this point that Rasmus actually, although he, came with a 59-minute PB right before the tournament started, he used to run vanilla Ori. Back before All Skills was even invented, he ran any percent, and he had a very solid time. It was a 36:10 in that category, which at that time with the strats that we had was a very solid time. So, for him to come back to this game, these early sections of the game are very similar in a lot of ways. Even though you have dash, they're very similar to vanilla Ori.
Yeah, that's true. Odie, on the other hand, he had only started running during the definitive edition, so kind of a difference between the two runners there. And something you always notice, which, since Odie's been running for a while, I don't think it's going to come up, is when people who have ran vanilla start running, they already, are very good at bash gliding and all that kind of stuff, because that was what vanilla was all about, was setting up beautiful bash glides. Ooh, a little bit of a death there from Odie, but he had a safety save up the top of the second room against those, so not too much of a setback, but don't want to be making those mistakes too often.
That value safety save, which I think at one point no one actually did, and then someone was just like, why would you not safety save here? I
love that save. Because there's no category except for main glitchless where you need to redirect the thing. But, in all skills, there's no use for the energy other than to make that save. You can't make you go any faster, so you might as well just save.
And speaking of not having any use for that energy, Odie is coming up to the mini-boss here, and takes a projectile in the face, so he's not at 2 HP. Not going to want to take another of those. Otherwise, he's getting good shot spamming here. Didn't quite get everything out of that cycle. Oh, I got trolled by the spawn there.
Yeah, that was rough.
He's missing some of the cues in terms of where the mini-boss is spawning. That cue is a 1/60th of a second. That's one frame indication. It's the mini-boss temporarily appears for that period of time where he's going to spawn, and if you miss it, you just have no idea. You have to guess, basically.
Yeah, we used to think that this mini-boss was an RNG nightmare because we had never seen the queue or never seen it consistently. We didn't know that it happened every single time, basically. And it was like, well, I hope I get lucky on the mini boss and he doesn't spawn bottom right. It's like, well, you can see him spawn, so it's actually no significant RNG at all. You just have to see the queues, basically.
Rasmus is quietly, kind of pulling closer and closer to Odie. He's entering the mini boss here, not too long after Odie finished it off. So, just little bits of time here and there. Perhaps if some of those tiny things that Odie had problems with, like dropping into the water or whatever, might help Rasmus catch up here.
The way I see these racers running, like I don't see really signs of nerves, so to speak, but that could be from Rasmus, like because he took that death early on, that can kind of just like shake up your mentality. Like maybe you're playing a little bit stiff at the start of a tourney race where the position will end up mattering, and you take that death and you're like, okay, let's focus up, and that can just like blow all the nerves out of you, so to speak. And he's been playing really well since then, so maybe something like that happened, or maybe I'm just making up words.
That is a really great point. I mean, you never know what sort of effect it can have if you have one of those kind of early things take place. The beginning of like an important like championship game of the opposing team scores on you. Maybe you just get kind of kicked into high gear and you're like, wait a second, I'm not letting this happen. So Rasmus quickly coming in on Bash. He's still hovering around 59 seconds behind. So, Odie is managing to keep that gap exactly where it is. He hasn't taken a death yet, and that's helping him avoid the comeback that Rasmus is doing a not bad job at trying to mount here.
Nice hyperspeed from Odie there. I'm not sure how long he's been doing those hyperspeeds, but it's kind of a newer trick to throw in. Just a whole mess of inputs up at that door to fly through there quickly. Grabbing all the mini bus experience. Go ahead.
Nice. Yeah, it's not a very easy trick to do that hyperspeed, and it only saves a couple of seconds too, so it's kind of one of those things that's easy to not really go for, but if you get it, it feels pretty good.
Rasmus coming up on key dupe here. It's really critical. He dies right in that spot, and he gets it. So now he'll be going through that room normally. Odie's going to go for his core skip, taking a little bit of time to aim the bashes on the frog to get him up there, but much better to aim the bash and get him up there than to throw him into the wrong spot, and he'll be leveling up with no incident. So smoothly progressing for Odie. Maybe a couple hiccups here and there, but nothing major at all. So he hasn't really shown any weaknesses for Rasmus to exploit thus far.
Rasmus is not going with a hyperspeed there. He did have actually an okay setup for it, but I don't think he's learned it yet. So he just made his way into the mini boss room, and he's taking care of that while Odie is going through the water escape. And we'll see if any ill incidents manage to befall him. We're going to hope not. The water escape is fairly straightforward, but you never know what sort of things can take place in here.
Yeah. It's important to note that this water, we can't outrun it. It will speed up if you get too far ahead. So you're always sitting with this death plane right below you. So all it takes is one miss to jump. And you're trying to, cut your jumps as close as possible to go fast through here, so...
Oh, no! On Rasmus' side, he does not get the core skip. He opts to exit game and reload, so he's going to try it a second time, as Odie does finish off the Ginso Tree escape. That's not going to be a good time loss for Rasmus there.
Yeah, that's rough. Getting the explosion too far away, and that's killed the frog. He bashed the shot a little too early, so he couldn't get it over the frog, and just ran right into it. So a little bit of a rough core skip here from Rasmus, and that's going to be widening the lead for Odie here, who's just been playing pretty clean so far.
Yeah, this is really the first, kind of instance of Rasmus really having problems since the beginning of the game here. So he does get a fast kill, and he gets the core skip. Oh my goodness.
I have to applaud him for going for the quick kill where you kill him outside and you start leveling up as you're approaching the core. After he missed it a few times, if it was me, I might have been spooked into saying, okay, I'm just going to bash the frog into the room first, and then I'll level up a second slower, but, safely. But he's like, no, we're going fast.
Well, on the bright side, it does help him not lose, it helps him only lose n-1 seconds instead of n seconds, so that's a thing.
That's very true.
Oh, goodness. But he will be making his way through the escape. Odie is coming up upon Drainless very shortly. And he gets a save on the edge of the platform there. He's going to stomp in midair right next to it, open it up, and learn an ability. Having a little bit of trouble there, but not enough to cause any problems, and he's going to be able to get the underwater stomp, which will allow him to move on without draining this water.
Yeah, mrasmus took a hit in the escape. All of these spikes will kill him, but I think he's going to be okay to get past him. He won't be able to take a damage boost on the way to Stomp, which is a second slower, but I honestly don't know if he goes for that damage boost anyways, so... And he had the UI on, so he's going to know that his health is at 2, so he'll know not to go for it.
Indeed. So, Odie coming up on his Kuro cutscene. Skip.
We'll see how many skips there end up being, and there's going to be...
It is one skip. Beautiful.
An odd number of skips.
Very nice job by Odie. If, of course, you're not familiar with that section, you probably think that absolutely nothing just happened there, but Odie pulled off a pretty precise cutscene skip, so good job by him.
Yeah, mrasmus coming up on Stomp, so he'll be looking to get the Kuro cutscene skip as well. I'm not sure... Well, actually, given that, you know, his last race was a 54, and he was, you know, still basically relearning or learning the game at the time, I don't think we can even rely on our past stats to know whether he's going to... his chances of getting it or not, because I would expect, you know, with a 54, you're probably not getting the Kuro cutscene skip, but who knows?
Yeah, his PB has improved since the time of that race. It's gone from like a 47 down to a 39, so there could be all sorts of very different strats in this upcoming run.
Yeah, so I have no doubt that he's going to go for it. We'll see if he ends up getting it. Odie now crossing the Spirit Tree. Fast Stompless is the next trick. I don't think Odie goes for this one, but I would not be 100% sure about that, to be honest.
I guess we'll both find out together, as I'm not aware either.
I love learning.
You know, one interesting thing to note, thinking back to the Ginso Tree escape, which fortunately didn't claim any lives here, but an interesting thing to note is that a lot of the runners in this tournament have been kind of students of the tournament, like they are watching the other runners' races, and they're kind of taking notes. And one thing that I haven't seen anyone take notes on, as mrasmus comes to the skip, doesn't quite get it. So he's going to take that 17-second time loss watching Kuro. But something that I haven't seen runners take notes on is despawning the water in the Ginso Tree escape. He actually reloaded and went for it again, and he got it the second time. So that
that is slick. So that is
a net
showing
save.
some confidence, because if you reload and get it the second time, it saves 4 seconds over just watching the cutscene. But every time you attempt a reload, you lose 13.
Real quick, Odie is also going for Fast Stompless. I think he had a good shot. He gets it.
Nailed it.
My goodness. Everything is different here in this race. mrasmus is going for the 5th energy here. So he has gotten 5 health and 5 energy, and he managed to pull off that second try Kuro cutscene skip. So not too bad on both runners' parts right now.
You know, I'm going to start asking people before the race if they're watching the other stream, but honestly, I feel like doing something like reloading and reattempting the Kuro cutscene skip is something you do because you know you're behind. So I would not be surprised if he was, you know, looking over at the stream every so often and he knew he had a bit of a deficit, or maybe just because he feels he's made a bunch of mistakes. Like, you kind of feel off about your race from a wall jump death from the very beginning, so he's just trying to save time here and there, but either way, that's cool. Odie dumps the frog off the edge. Now he's going to slowly fall down and then die. I think reloading... Oh my gosh! Are you kidding me?
What are you doing, Odie? He's going to climb. All right. I don't think this is actually faster than just reloading and retrying, but...
Yo, that's cool, though.
That's fantastic. He drops a save, and he has enough energy to do that. I don't know why he took the intentional death, maybe to reset the health on the birds. And he is engaged in Sarabash now, so he's got a pretty good position there. Oh, he goes for the 2 charge dash method.
That was pretty sick.
And he is able to successfully get the charge dash off the bird while it's dying. So that's not an easy trick. That actually requires a fair bit of practice to be confident that the bird's going to be in a position where you can consistently get that charge dash on him. Ooh.
He did not get the shot on the first rocket jump. I think he was stomping back down, so he intended to get this energy and make a safety save. Now he has to decide, Do I
He's
save?
not taking the safety save.
Okay,
He's
so
going on
he's
through.
going to do fast Sorrow then. In PB attempts, he would not save at all in Sorrow. It's a race strat to take extra energy to make a save right before this part. But since he wasted an energy, he took the extra energy and said, okay, no, I'm going to get the rocket jump up to the top. I'm not going to lose time. But this does mean he's at 1 health right now. So if this frog brushes him, he will die and be back at the start of Sorrow Bash. So this is
He
a
hasn't
really key
taken
moment.
any hits yet. He's able to weave in there and get the
nice.
rocket jump up to the top of Sorrow. So good job by Odie to pull off first try, no death Sorrow pass. That is extremely impressive by any runner in a race situation. On Erasmus's side, he ended up skipping Fast Stompless. He actually went for it in his last race and failed it. So I guess this time he decided, I'm just not confident with that. I'm just not going to go for it. Which is actually an interesting juxtaposition with the fact that he did the Kuro cutscene skip twice.
Well, I mean, in his first race, it could have been the kind of thing like, well, I'm racing against Hetfield, I might as well try this stuff. Like, who cares, right?
That is a good point. Ooh, man, Odie just skirting those spikes there on the way back down, but no problem. He does not eat them. And he's making his way to charge jump now as Rasmus has just picked up Feather. Oh, goodness, Odie trying his best to sniff every one of those spikes. Maybe he thinks they're scratch and sniff.
He's on a spike testing patrol today. He needs to find the outer range of the hitbox, and so far he's 2 for 2. Oh, trash! Oh my god, that wasn't trash bash. That was the bash bug.
Bash bug.
He's gonna have to kill himself. Oh, I hate that bug.
That was already his second attempt on this frog, so he's just having a little bit of trouble with this frog. The deficit was already around 2 minutes, and with Odie having such a strong Sorrow pass, I can't imagine it's getting any closer.
Yeah, Odie would basically have to self-destruct in Misty to put a gap. Ooh, he's skipping this. Is this the that new route? He's gonna take the 200.
Think he's going for it. There it is.
Nice.
All right.
And this is only actually faster if you have 5 energy, but whatever.
Oh, goodness. You know, this is funny. It's one of those things where, like I said, you know, racers are watching the tournament. They are studying their opponents. They're studying the other races, and they're learning things. And so in this case, you know, we're seeing that Odie, oh, goodness, he's not going to be able to do that rocket jump, unfortunately. But he clearly, you know, watched your race, saw the new strats, and was like, oh, okay, I can do these. Didn't quite get the full picture, of course. But
although, you know, I guess the thing about it is that it might only actually be faster with 5 energy, but it gives you way more safety saves in Misty, because you can dump all of your energy in the second half of Misty. So you can save like twice before the boss, and it doesn't affect you because you get all your energy back for the charge dashes across valleys. So in that sense, it's pretty good as like the safety strat.
Rasmus is in on his frog juggle at the moment, so he actually had a very solid entrance into Sorrow Pass, and then a little bit of, like, you know, slight time loss at the bottom floor, but otherwise he's having a great Sorrow as well. Ooh, stomps the frog out of the way. Oh, he went for the rocket jump anyway, but at least he didn't hit spikes. As Rasmus is, yeah, gosh, and Rasmus is making his way into climb. So that deficit kind of widening a little bit, especially with Rasmus having to float to the top of Sorrow.
Dude, look at this double stomp cancel to climb. This is... Look at Odie go. Oh my gosh. Of course, he's already at 1 health because he ate spikes. He just lost 2 energy. but we are... Oh my goodness. He's gonna land on top.
I love that jump, dude. He kills the frog. Oh
no! Okay, we get to see the movement again. This is worth it. I want to see him go through here again. All right, nice. That was a lot better that time.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Well, he took 3 damage again. He's trying for the rocket jump. Oh, he hits spikes again.
Well, the good news for Odie is that he has room to make these kind of mistakes. I'm no stranger to self-destructing and Misty, and I think he'll be able to, you know, keep things together because he has a large enough lead to make a few of these deaths and still be okay. But oh god,
goodness. What is happening?
Maybe you should save. Okay, good.
He does. Rasmus, meanwhile, has come into charge jump. Oh goodness, the spaghetti continues on Odie's side. This is really, I mean, you know, I can't at all fault him for getting here on what seems like very good pace and saying, like, I want to make a statement here. I want to show how good I am at this game. And, you know, some of these things he's doing, he's not pulling off successfully, but, like, he clearly has been working very hard on his play, and it is showing in this race.
You know, the thing about this kind of thing happening, and especially in Misty Woods, is this is exactly the sort of situation that you get yourself into after you just practice Misty, like, IL style, and you're like, oh yeah, all this cool movement, oh yeah, saving half a second here. And then you do that like 20 times, and you get it like, you know, a few of them. Maybe near the end you get it a few times. Then you go try to do it in a run, and it's just like, how do I press buttons? I'm dying to spikes.
Yes, exactly. I know that feeling so well. The IL practice is very different from doing an actual run.
But Odie getting through successfully now. He has a safety save right before the boss. So, and you know, might as well use the energy. Like, he has 2 energy left, so he's gonna get a full energy restore here. So that's showing off some of the nice parts of that level up. Is you have free safety saves there, and then you have a bunch of energy to get yourself back through Valley.
He did go for a boom, boom, boom quick kill there, but just wasn't quite able to pull it off. And then, you know, any kill, just throws away a bunch of energy into a wall there. Any kill on that mini boss that takes longer than 1 cycle, you're pretty happy as long as you don't mess it up and die. But, you know, obviously you want the 1 cycle. Oh, goodness.
Oh, dear.
Going for the stomp cancels. A little bit of spaghetti. But he is able to make it up to the teleporter now. And I wager he'll be taking that safety save.
We've seen enough, like, spaghettied valley crossings that people are used to doing the wall charge jump up there now, rather than trying to climb the wall and do the double jumps, because those sometimes go really, really badly. It can take you like a minute to get around that wall, but no, Odie's going through cleanly, gets a nice dash glide. He's charge dashing every single slime in BRB just to say.
Throwing all his energy directly into the garbage, but but he is able to make his save, get that door forced open, and he's going to make his way down to Light Burst. He does still have 1 energy, so he will be able to...
energy drop. Look at that manip.
Oh, beautiful. That's actually... that must be very relieving for him, because if you come into this area and you have to do this charge dash at the risk of losing your only energy and not being able to make the save for the cutscene skip, you're going to be a little bit nervous. Whereas in this case, he was able to get that energy drop, and so there was no concern at all. Rasmus!
I was about to say Rasmus's Misty was looking good, but now he's at 1 health.
He
get to solid ground and save.
Yep, he's passing through the scary dash area. He gets to the ground. He does make a save. So, danger averted. The difference in time still on the order of 2 minutes. Odie making very good time, and he has not this entire race given Rasmus any chance to catch up, which is really impressive. Just in terms of, you know, his consistency from start to finish in this race so far.
I think he went for a rocket jump there and missed it, which is fortunate because he missed the Yoga cycle anyways, which would mean that the laser up top would have been in his way if the rocket jump had succeeded. Rasmus took a death but had a fortuitous safety save that was not too far back, so...
Yep, these meatball is not very kind, but fortunately that's pretty close to where he had made that save.
So Odie looking to close this one out. The only real trick left remaining is door warp, and that can go badly, but I don't think we've seen a bad enough door warp to close this gap. We'd be talking like 50 door warps at this point. It's pretty quick to reattempt, so nice race from Odie, basically.
Yep.
Rasmus also leveling there, so he must have done the same experience route. This is neat, and he has 5 energy, so it's even faster.
You know, I gotta throw out there, Odie has a decent chance of being on PB pace. I'm looking at the time here. His PB is at 37:26. If he's able to get a solid door warp, that final segment takes on the order of, I want to say 2 minutes 40. Yeah, 40 if you're slow.
It's really good. 240 if you're... Yeah, maybe second.
So he has a decent chance of coming in around a low 37 if he is able to get a solid door warp. So let's see how this goes for him. He's about to exit and reload. Here it is.
One frame. Can you hit it?
He can't get the first one.
Looks like he's timing as well because he didn't go through the door there. So.
Oh, not the second one either.
Dang.
Time slipping away, but he could still be in PB range. It's a 3rd try. This is definitely a possible PB pace for him. He's going to have a very solid escape for it, but we're going to see if he's able to pull it off.
Like,
I'm sure he is aware that this is a very solid time. So here we go with the final escape. Rasmus is coming in to the lasers right before Light Burst. He's taking it pretty safe and is not going to die there. And here goes Odie. Let's see how many stomp cancels he opts for. There were a couple already.
Oh boy!
Goodness, I can't believe he's going for these.
He knows that he's like close to PB, and he's got to be trying to like pull out all the stops to PB, and maybe he IL'd the escape before this, and was like, yeah, stomp cancels everywhere. He's all right.
He does a couple more. He's out of energy. There's no fish strats coming up here. All he needs to do is finish in the next 12 seconds. I don't know if he can do that. It's really dependent on these bowlers.
Nice. Get up
it's
there.
Gonna be close. It's gonna be a tie. It's a tie with his PB. What an incredible run and an incredible finish for Odie. I cannot believe that.
I hope he's got it by like a second or at least maybe milliseconds so that he can have his PB video be a race, tournament race, you know?
It's hard to say. The time ticked over to 36:06 at like the exact moment that he crossed that last line. And it's about 120 from that point. But there's some fractions of seconds involved. So oh goodness.
So that's what happens when you don't get the Yoka cycle and you do the rocket jump over on Rasmus's screen.
Yeah, that is not a fun experience. He's not going.
I was worried he was going to go for it again, but we're fine now.
So Odie's just holding right to get to victory right now, and Rasmus is making his way to Mount Horu. Not PB pace for him, unfortunately, but he's looking overall to have a pretty solid run. The one major death at the beginning, and then just a little bit of spaghetti at the end of Ginso, and that's kind of it. Like, that's really the entirety of the mistakes he had.
Yeah, really, that death and then the core skip troubles were the only major problems. Like, Sora went pretty well, I think. And
we're gonna see
Misty had a couple of deaths, but nothing too bad.
It is a 37:26.58. I do not know what the milliseconds on his PB are, but we're gonna find out.
Alright, I'm gonna load up speedrun.com and we'll get the lowdown.
Alright, I'm charging you with that duty as I will keep watching Rasmus here as he's making his approach through Horu Fields. And manages to avoid any weirdness from the lava elemental.
No. His PB is 37:26.03. It's not a PB.
Oh no. By half a second. Oh goodness, what an incredible run by Odie to be able to tie your PB to the second in a
that's
race.
amazing.
And an important tournament race like this too. So this is going to pull him to 1 and 2. As Rasmus is coming into Horu, he's going to be in contention, possibly, depending on the results of Rasmus versus Rufus coming up. And Rasmus with the first try door work. So his previous race, he pulled it off 5th try. So clearly he's gone to school on that trick since then.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So this group, we'll have all eyes on the Rasmus versus Rufus match because that's going to be the most interesting match for the standings in this group. Maybe, like, honestly, it has the most potential to mix up everything from this point on. So,
yeah, I mean, everybody could be tied after that, and in terms of win-loss record, and then it would all go to average times. Which, oh goodness, I mean, it'll obviously depend on what the results are. Rasmus here is probably going to come out with a low 40 once he gets to the end of this escape, assuming no more major mistakes. But he's playing it pretty safe to make sure that he doesn't have anything crazy occur. So he's going to come out with a much better average than he previously had. It's going to drop to like a 47, and he'll have another opportunity to improve it further. Odie's
Rasmus.
And he's coming to the end. He's going for fish strats.
Oh boy. Controller fish strats.
Controller.
Double bashing is nearly impossible. You need a double bash to make it worth it, but oh dear me!
No, he rocket jumped into the ceiling. All right, he's
yes.
good with the backup, no problem. Oh, he does miss a rock, but he's fine.
Okay, we're good.
So that looks to be a 41.05 or so. So very good finish by Rasmus.
Yeah, that was solid. If Odie hadn't, actually basically PB'd in this race, like losing 2 minutes against your PB is still a pretty darn good race time. So, this could have been a lot closer, but Odie was like, no, I'm going to play. I'm going to bring my A game here and no opportunity to catch up for Rasmus, basically.
Yeah, Odie's definitely going to be proud of this performance, and he's also, again, he's going to improve his tournament average just a little bit. Looking back at the stats from earlier on, Rufus's average is actually a 42.27, and Odie's average before this race was a 43.02. So this is absolutely going to put him in a better average position than Rufus, which means Rufus, if he takes that loss next week, next match, which we don't, I believe we don't have it scheduled yet, but he could actually drop down and Odie could end up claiming second place in this group, which would be absolutely incredible.
Yeah, so Odie is going to be cheering Rasmus on with all his heart for that next race, whenever it ends up happening. But yeah, that one's going to be pretty exciting.
So Rasmus comes to the finish line with a 41.05. Congratulations to both runners. The end times ended up being separated by nearly 4 minutes, but absent that one major death at the beginning, this could have been a very different race.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Well, that's almost it for Mount Horu Group. I look forward to seeing what's coming up next in that group. Sigma, why don't you tell us a little bit about what's coming up next, both on this channel and in our tournament?
Well, this is going to wrap us up for tonight, but tomorrow looks like we've got some Shovel Night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And then our tournament will be coming back to you on Saturday with some early afternoon, 3 p.m. Eastern, Ori, which is going to be... Let's see, what is that match? Stafu versus Snoopy.
Snoopy. Yep.
Is that finishing up that group? That's got to be getting close to done as well.
That will be the last match in that group. That's correct.
So things drawing to a close in the group stage, but brackets are going to certainly be very interesting. Everybody advances from groups, so the tournaments are not over for any of these people. Even if they're taking 4th seed, they'll get to play their way through and try to take down some of the first seeds. Crazy upsets in the round of 32, but that'll be something to watch.
Indeed. I'm really looking forward to seeing the results of the group stage, just in general. As we close in on the end of the group stage, we are going to be talking more about the overall standings and help you guys, help you viewers understand what the bracket is going to look like. We may try to do some sort of show where we talk about the bracket stage, because as it turns out, we scheduled 4 weeks for the group stage and most of the matches are done in less than 3, so we're gonna have a light schedule next week.
Something about those first 2 weeks when everybody was like, I'll play all 3 of my matches, go, and we just chill out a little bit.
Yeah, we actually had to encourage a couple people, actually maybe hold off a little bit. Oh goodness. But in addition to that, on the Speed Gaming channel, the subsequent week, March 10th through 19th, is SNES Superstars Marathon, and that will be eating up the channel for that entire time. So we're expecting the bracket stage to begin the week after SNES Superstars. But in the meantime, we're going to hope to bring you some cool Ori action. Of course, the conclusion of the various groups in the group stage, but also possibly, some exhibitions or something else fun.
Oh yeah, we'll have stuff to do. Definitely stuff to do.
Well, Sigma, thank you very much for joining tonight. I think we can go ahead and wrap it up.
Yep, that was pretty solid. Good races. GDs to all the racers. Congrats, Odie, on your win. And congrats, Monkley, on winning the first race of tonight.
I was like, do you need a refresher?
Sometimes your windows just all stack on top of each other and you're trying to read from Discord for things that are on the schedule and it just doesn't work out too well. But yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. You guys have a good night and come back tomorrow to check out Shovel Knight.
Yep. Take care, guys. Thanks for watching.